welcome to this episode of the AskBonBon Show, real conversations about what matters most, where we bring you the people and the tools to create the life that you love. I am your host, Bonnie Bruder, and today we are talking about a really fun topic, and that topic is design. When I lived in San Francisco many years ago, all of a sudden I started to attract these girls that were designers for their career, and I personally knew nothing about design before. So it was a very fascinating new concept for me, and I would watch and learn. And as I realized how much there was to it, it really changed not only my life, but my environment, which I think is so important. I myself, have moved to New York, obviously, here we are, and I work out of my home sometimes, and so space is a really, really important thing for me now. And so when I first moved to New York, I was fortunate enough to meet this incredible designer that works here in Manhattan, who you will meet in just a minute. And not only did she help style and design my home and pick some paint colors, but she has worked on some really incredible projects here in Manhattan, and actually, quite honestly, all over the world. So I would love for everyone to meet Miss Jamie Eliason from Jamie Eliason Design.
Thank you, Bonnie, and it's a privilege and honor to be here on your show with you.
Thank you so much. So I know you're always running around, buzzing in, buzzing out. You're working on a ton of projects.
That's right.
What are you up to these days?
Well, as you know, that I decided to establish my business in Manhattan after working all over the country and a lot of projects in Mexico too. And so what I'm up to is a lot of renovations. Of course, it's Manhattan with all of these old pre-war buildings and a lot of new construction. You can see all of the activity going on around the city with the cranes in the sky. It's very exciting. So what I'm up to is something new every day, literally. And that's what I love about my job, is every new project presents different challenges, new clients with different backgrounds and lifestyle. And what you touched on, is lifestyle and your home and space, and more people are working from home to some degree, and space is super important, and also to their lifestyle, to tailor make their home somewhere that really fits, that if they have children, if they have dogs, like a lot of us New Yorkers do,
Yes.
that it's really important that people want you to understand that and interpret that lifestyle and really bring that, manifest that, their dreams, how they'd like to live into their home.
That's a really important point, and we'll talk about the home in just a minute. But as you know, I live in your building, and I do work from home sometimes, and I do have a dog. And I often get compliments from my clients about how I have the most well-behaved dog they've ever seen.
It's true, I know your dog.
I know, little Ginger.
Yeah.
But I really attribute that to environment, quite honestly. Even when we lived in California, I always made sure we had a very peaceful environment, so that the home was, nice open space and clear of clutter, and there was always candles at night and music. And I feel like that is a big part of her behavior, and obviously some training as well. But then I think that that's so important with clients. I see people, they're coming in, they're talking about their issues. I want to have a very safe, a very healing. We talked about this when we chose paint colors. And
yes.
You helped me pick these amazing colors.
Thank you. Yes.
That did that. So tell us, just a little bit more about environment and how big a part that plays in people's lives and lifestyles.
Well, it is, because life happens. And whether it's with our pets, our children, our spouses, our parents, our grandparents, people come to our homes, and we want them to feel as comfortable as possible too, and welcomed. And keeping a clutter-free space is so imperative to having that atmosphere in a space that you live and work in. Clutter and the colors. Colors make such a statement about people's personality. Some people like bold colors. And that's wonderful, because that's an expression of themselves. Some people, like you and I, choose to live more in more serenity, in calm colors, and that's very conducive to that, I guess, where you can breathe, kind of a lifestyle. And so it's really wonderful working with these different lifestyles, because, as I mentioned earlier, every new client presents, challenges, and they look to me for my input, because they oftentimes understand, they know how they want to live, but they have no idea how to live in their space without direction.
Interesting.
And yeah, it is interesting, and I guess that's why, you know, I do what I do, because I actually have expertise in it and a natural ability, and I think you know, that goes with what you're doing too. If you have the natural ability, you can help people in however, you know, to serve them. And
yeah, it's, you know, it is a big difference. And like I said, before I had gone to San Francisco, I didn't have any idea how much design played. It was just kind of like a home that was, my home was filled with, you know, things that cousins and aunts and uncles were giving away. A couch here, a bed there. And,
yes.
And I was so grateful for it, but I didn't realize until I had said I met my first friend, Kate, who in San Francisco, who was a designer, and I just started with, wow, there's so much to this. And I would every day, you know, get a ride from her somewhere. We would go hiking, and her whole car would be filled with sample books and things like that. So if somebody is just starting out, say you're a novice and you don't have any idea about design, and where is really the first place that you would start? If I came to you and I said, well, you know, this is kind of the look and feel, I like modern a little bit, but I have no idea, what would you do next?
What I would do is what you said, first of all, declutter, start getting rid of things, first of all, that you've been hanging on to too long, you know, clothing, whatever it is, magazines. Start clearing that out, because that'll automatically clear your mind to be more open. You'll be able to see the space. But after that, first and foremost, start with one area or one room. Pick one room, whether it's your bedroom, your living room, your foyer. Make the plan. Finish that one space first, and then move on to the next, because the most I think the frustration comes in with people when they see a lamp that they like, or they see a rug that they like. Oh, that'll be perfect in this room, that'll be perfect in that space, and they never get to a place where they feel like they're making progress, and it doesn't feel like it's being pulled together. So that would be my advice, is pick one space and finish it.
That is great advice. That's great advice for life. So pick one space, finish it. Luckily, I live in a studio alcove, so it didn't take me too many rooms to figure that all out. But that is, that's really interesting, because you hear from a lot of people, you know, they're going through renovations or they're redoing their home, you know, everything's an upheaval and everything.
Yes.
So I really like that idea. Start with, you know, the end in mind, of course, but start one place, get that perfect in the way that you want it, and then move on. Exactly.
Especially if you're on a budget and you have to move in phases. If you can't afford to do, because how I work with my clients, Bonnie, is if they can, we're doing a whole complete apartment renovation or home renovation, and if refurnishing everything, or if they only have the budget to move in phases, the entire project is concepted up front. So my clients understand completely what the entire home looks like, from the front door to the back door. Every single room is selected, all the furnishings, lighting, accessories, art, rugs, it's all selected, and so there's no question marks for them along the way. So if they want to do the foyer now, they do the foyer, but they also know that it's going to complement and blend with the rest of their home, because I've presented them with a complete home concept. And nice. So yes, and it's really important, and that's why I think, again, frustration comes in with when people are doing their homes and things, that they don't understand the end result, they can't see it. And so this way I provide my clients a roadmap, whether they're going to jump in and drive the whole map all at one time, or, you know, state by state kind of a thing.
Very cool.
Yeah.
Now, I know that you worked on a very interesting project in Florida with a school.
Yes.
And that's obviously very important, too, because the learning environment is critical for people to be able to absorb and learn and retain information. So can you tell our viewers just a little bit about that project? And
thank you for asking about it. Yes, it was really a fun project. And, you know, again, working with kids and an environment that is conducive for kids. This particular school, it's a private school, and their approach is completely non-traditional, where and the name of the school is called Ohana, which means family, and they wanted their school, all the children who are attending, to feel like they were part of a family. So many parts of the school were actually made to feel like living rooms. and their commons area was full of sofas, or is full of sofas and high top tables, and it's very much a creative-based learning process with the Ohana School. So I provided the students with walls where they could actually write on the walls with dry erase paint.
Oh, wow.
Yes, and tabletops, coated tabletops, so they could work out math problems writing on the table, and then it could all be erased.
We all did that anyway with our pencils, right? So I was so ahead of the time, although I had to erase it and got detention for it.
Yeah, exactly, but now it's legal.
Oh, wow.
Yes, and
That's
it's
amazing.
conducive, and they can sit and share notes, and it's very much a group. They foster the kids working together to solve problems, and so the whole design of the school was very much based like that.
Wow.
Yes, it's very interesting.
Beautiful, and I've seen photos. It's absolutely elegant and amazing.
Thank you. The kids love it, and they were so gracious and grateful about it, and which was really wonderful.
Good.
Yes.
Good. And so you talked about how you provide a roadmap, but then I also know that you provide a lot more than that for people that are looking from, I want A to Z, not just forget starting with one room, let's just kit and caboodle. Can you talk a little bit about that? Because I know that's very different, and you offer all kinds of architecture and construction and everything.
It is, and actually that's my primary business, it's full service design. I do offer obviously interior design, but general contracting, architecture, and construction management, as well as real estate consulting. Being in this business, you see lots of different properties, so it's very natural to, I think, anyway, it was natural for me to learn a lot about real estate and understand real estate values, and I've invested in property as well over the years, and so I really do understand markets. So when clients come to me and ask me if this renovation is good for resale, if they're thinking about resale, I can really advise them on the appropriate, what level they should finish their apartment to get the level of dollars they're looking for when they go to sell. And if it is a good value, in fact, what they're thinking of doing. So that's one part, but yes, the general contracting is a large part. I don't know if you know this about me, but I actually worked on a construction crew years ago.
I did not know that.
I didn't
Hard hat and all?
Yeah, well,
yes,
yes, absolutely, I did. And as an interior designer, it's a unique thing that I bring to the table, that I actually really understand construction.
Great.
And I've been on construction sites for over 20 years now, and so the general contracting side of it just makes sense as an added value service. Right. And it really makes my projects go very smoothly, because not only am I the interior designer, but I work hand in hand on the job sites, making sure every detail is taken care of, and the project flows very smoothly because of that.
Fantastic.
Yes.
That's a great service.
Yes. And then on projects where clients hire me for the interior design, I offer the construction management, again, because I understand construction, and I look out on their behalf and, again, make sure all of the details are executed per the plan, exactly how they're supposed to be to get the result we're looking for. And again, the construction management portion really helps the project run very smoothly.
That's great. I mean, of course, I've never renovated a large, huge project, but I imagine what I know from other things in business is that when you are doing a project and then you have to work with one consultant or person on this project and then this other piece, it can get so frustrating, and X doesn't talk to Y and this doesn't fit here.
It can get very convoluted very quickly.
Yes, so that's amazing that you bring it all together and offer that solution for people, because again, this is your home. It's something that's and it usually costs some money, so it's something that people can be very emotional and passionate about. Right,
and that's very effective too from a cost standpoint. They can justify my services, because if, like you said, A isn't talking to B or X isn't talking to Y, or that, if somebody's standing on a job site waiting for instruction, that is money lost, because it's time that's being charged for, money's being lost. So making sure the materials are all there on time, making sure that everybody knows exactly what they're supposed to do, it saves money over the course of the project, a lot of money over the project. So that's another value add that my services bring to the table, or I bring to the table with my services, I should say. But yeah, it's a very effective way of approaching new home construction, renovation, any project.
Great.
Yeah.
So I always have to ask, because we're an inspiration show and a motivational show, what is your dream project? If you had a magic wand and you could, attract any project that you want to work on, what would that be?
Oh my gosh, that's such a great question.
I know there's so many, I'm sure.
You know what, there are so many, and there's like, well, do I this one or that one or that one or that one? Fortunately, I've had the opportunity to work on many beachfront homes, and I think I would like to do a waterfront home in the south of France.
Ooh.
Yes, which is on my list of to-dos.
Okay,
so
that's very nice. Well, I know you designed this lovely home we're sitting in here today.
Yes,
so
I did, thank you.
I think that's
which actually happens to be a beach home. Now, yeah, you're right. It does happen to be a beach home.
Yes, so we're going to have Mai Tais later and head out to the water.
Exactly. Exactly.
Good, good. Well, tell us about a couple more projects that you're working on here. I know you've worked really hard, to build a business here in Manhattan, and you've really had some incredible projects over the last couple years. Anything that really stands out, or maybe some design tips that you've used that you can kind of share with our viewers?
Absolutely. Again, like I said earlier, every project brings a different client with different lifestyle needs and desires, and also the properties vary so dramatically here in Manhattan. And so a 3-level apartment on Park Avenue was one of the big highlights, and one of the beautiful things about that project was the 3 terraces outside, which is such a special thing in Manhattan.
Yes.
And so that was a very special project, and also, I mean, there's just so much coming up too, and it's hard to pick. It's hard to pick the highlights. And I also do commercial work too. I think you know that. We haven't discussed that, but I was able to do a lobby for a business on the 31st floor in Midtown, and it was actually for a media company. So it was quite funky and fun, and very different, very, very different. Quite a departure from. But that's what happens too with commercial projects. You just never know, and you just never know what the personality of the company is going to bring to the project, and this certainly had a lot of personality.
Interesting. Yeah, I know this is very different, obviously, here in New York, but I do a lot of corporate coaching, and I go specify specifically for technology companies, kind of internet and technology companies. And it's so much fun to go into the environments and just see, and you get a feel. It's so interesting, obviously the companies I work with have a very strong online presence, but then the offline presence really mimics that in so many instances. I just finished a job I was working with Outbrain, and it was just so interesting seeing the culture, and it was so fascinating, and I loved being there because I loved the product, but then I also loved being in the space and around the people that it attracted.
Yes, and it's really wonderful, and these companies, companies are now, for the most part, getting away from the traditional way of doing business and everybody in a cube. And funny story, I did a project, a very large office project, and the company was like, we're a financial company, but we like to have fun, and we want our people to have fun. And they actually had to have their workspaces organized so when needed or wanted, they could shoot each other with Nerf guns. And the poor UPS man, every time he walks through the door, holds up his shield because he's getting shot at, and or fun things like that. They actually requested a zip line in their office. We couldn't make the space work because they actually needed a stairwell instead of a zip line. So I know, but I'll keep that in my back pocket for future projects.
Yes. Wow, that's great. Who doesn't love a good zip line at your office?
I know, right?
Oh, that's so much fun. Good.
Yes, yes.
So we just have a few more minutes here today. And I know that you said you work A to Z and you work with all types of people. But if I'm someone that's watching and I'm just, interested, I can just maybe do, one little thing. What's one thing that I can do? I know you said start with one room, but what's just, if I am going to take the first step forward, what would that be?
Paint color can do wonders. A fresh coat of paint can do wonders. And now paint can get tricky, as you know.
Yes.
Just when we were working in your apartment, we tried a couple colors that I think you thought you were going to like. And then...
Disaster.
Yeah. But, but paint is very challenging, so that's not your fault. Unless you work with it every day, it's very challenging to pick the right color. And what I would advise on picking paint color, if you like a color, take it 2 shades softer.
Okay.
Because if you like that color, make it more of a soft background and pop the actual color that you like with pillows or some glass pieces or something that's going to bring that color, because if you like that color, it's going to be too much on a wall, generally.
Yes, as we learned with mirror.
Yes. Exactly.
It was my fault because you gave me good advice. You said go get pinstripe gray, and I came back with mirror, and it was a disaster. So now we have pinstripe gray, and
yes,
everything's good.
It's all better.
Good. Okay, so paint. So that's the best thing that can
fresh
make a big
coat of paint, and take it back at least 2 shades from the color that you like.
Great. Well, thank you so much for being here and sharing your expertise with our audience.
Bonnie, it's been wonderful, and I'm honored to be on your show. This is wonderful what you're doing, bringing this to the public.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you, everybody, for watching. This has been the Ask Bonbon Show. We have been talking to Jamie Eliason from Jamie Eliason Design, where every week we bring you the people and the tools to create a life that you love. See you next time.